And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines. The lighting here sucks. Anyway, okay, a lot to talk about here. We're going to try and keep it brief, but the main thing on everybody's mind, I think, is what happened in the Oval Office when Zelensky refused to sign the agreement that he had agreed to already 3 weeks ago. And apparently they had 3 phone calls about it and everything was set to go. They were supposed to come in, have a little press conference, go sign it, and have lunch and so forth. In the end, they had to cut the press conference, and then instead of having lunch with him, Zelensky was asked to leave. And then yesterday he met with, who's that jerk off, Sturmer, I think, in England. And so the European Union, or Britain anyway, is giving them $2 billion. But they're not giving him the money. They are giving him a loan. Okay? They're loaning him $2 billion. So it's not like what we were doing, which was just giving him everything, which was what Trump wanted to recoup, the $300 billion or so that he said that we've sent. We were told it was 200 and something billion, but apparently Trump keeps sticking to 310 billion, so that's probably closest to the truth.
His number one argument was that Putin would not honor the ceasefire. He would agree to it, but he would not honor it.
And
the thing is that it just sounds like an excuse. It sounds as though he had no intention of following through. There's money to be made. He is a criminal element, as far as I'm concerned. There's terrible things going on in this country. He was not elected. He closed the elections. He is a de facto head of the country, and frankly, he didn't even put on a suit before the meeting. He showed up like Fetterman. So, if you're going to request the support of a particular country and you need their support, you don't show up like a bum. You show up dressed in the same way that both Trump and Vance were dressed.
Well, I saw how Trump greeted him when he got out of the limo.
Yeah.
He told him, "I see you dressed up for the occasion."
Yeah, and the thing is, he was, that's just a small thing. It does matter in the world of politics. It shows a certain lack of decorum, but at the same time, Trump isn't going to continue the war simply because he didn't wear a suit. Right. But he mentioned it because he's going to mention it.
This was like Castro would go everywhere in his commandant's outfit, all right, and so did that scumbag who I hope is rotting in hell, Arafat. He was always with his guerrilla uniform on, his uniform, and with that stupid keffiyeh, what they call it. Yeah, the terrorist headscarf. Anyway, yeah, I think that's the image he wants to keep. And yesterday, somebody, I think it was Scott Adams, said that they're talking about Fetterman running for president in 4 years, right? Mm. And he goes, "Can you imagine a meeting between Fetterman and Zelensky?"
Well, here's the thing. Trump actually complimented Fetterman and said he
has his own style.
No. The term that he used was that he made a lot of common sense statements. And that is a big compliment from Trump, because ultimately he likes to keep things as simple as possible. But the thing is that Fetterman is a bit of a phenomenon. I mean, he went from brain dead to near Republican. Actually, he actually sounded like old school Democrat.
Yes, a blue dog Democrat, which is what, when the Democrat Party was real and viable and actually a good choice at times, they were blue dog Democrats. That all ended around the time of McGovern.
What does that look like?
Have you joined the Masons?
Well, watch this.
You did join the Masons.
Remember Ken, who still wants to talk with us. Okay, Ken gave me this as a gift.
Ken, was he the one who was supposed to come on?
The fireman that was supposed to be one of our first.
We've been stood up so far by a fireman and a cop.
Yes, and so far, pilot hasn't given us an okay either. Okay. Even though Mike I see him a lot lately, and his job takes him away for long periods of time. Like now, I think they're sending him down to Maryland.
Den of Democrat whores.
Well, the thing is that he says, they're They're going to go down there and they're going to retrain me. He says, but I already know everything. I said, yeah, but they don't know that you already know everything. But
Well, I hate that state because years ago when I drove down south, that whole state was nothing but a speed trap. I
yes,
drove through there in the '80s a couple of times. It's disgusting. It's a speed trap. That's it. And I hate going through Maryland. And if I can avoid it, I will not go through Maryland again.
Maryland did have that reputation.
If I didn't live in New Jersey, I would never come back to New Jersey either because this state is anti-freedom, anti-constitutional.
Well,
Steve Fulop, who's running for governor on the Democrat side, I knew his father. I knew his family when they had a business and they used to buy baked goods from my father's bakery, right? And we used to deliver stuff there every day, a couple of times a day. You know, the old man was a cool guy. Steve apparently became mayor of Jersey City and was very successful, but he's said that if he wins the governorship, he's going to keep Platkin as Attorney General. Platkin is one of the most anti-gun attorney generals that you can in existence today. Okay, so I can't support Steve Fulop not because he's a Democrat, but because he is going to keep that anti-gun thing going. It's unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. There's a lot of talk about Congress is not doing its job because it's supposed to be generating legislation to ensure the edicts or mandates that Trump has written have standing in the future. And some people are actually talking badly about Mike Johnson again. I don't know what exactly is going on there, and I'm not sure if it's deserved because, you know, I mean, you hear these passing statements from these so-called experts and you don't know how viable their view is because the problem is in the world of politics, there is no truth. There's only whoever happens to win the vote.
Well, you got to remember, Johnson cannot bring any bills to the floor for voting if they are not written and proposed. I mean,
right. But that's what Congress
legislators have to do their job, like you said, and he can't do anything to bring anything to a vote unless it's been written up and entered.
I think it's time to join. I didn't have it set up. The Masons. Is that freaking cool or what, man?
It is cool.
And it's a Kanifsky.
Is he a Mason himself, or you don't know?
No, he's not. He's a knife collector, and I frankly I don't think I deserve this, but because it has real heft, dude. If you forget about the fact it's a knife, if I threw this and hit somebody in the head, it would cause some serious misery. So there's that.
Good. Have you tried atrocities? Have you tested it? I imagine from a knife guy, it's probably pretty sharp.
I don't think it's super sharp, but I have not tested it. Let's see. 1 second.
Not bad.
It's okay. A little dull. It could use a little bit more edge. Let's put it this way. You could use this as a kitchen knife.
Oh, okay.
But it's just engineering wise, it's just so freaking cool. Somebody was in love with the Masons.
Oh yeah, somebody who's a Mason designed that. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but
for all we know, that may be a design that's hundreds of years old.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is this really doesn't have any real function because it doesn't have any numbers on it. But it's just he is a collector, so something like this is definitely going to be
it's unusual.
His wheelhouse.
Not your run of the mill thing.
And Kurt is actually starting a business making knives.
Kurt?
Yes, the person on our chat.
The person what?
That's on our chat.
Oh yeah, on our chat. He's the gun guy too, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of great stuff. He's another person who hasn't come to the podcast. Well, we wanted to talk to him about hunting in Pennsylvania and things like that.
Right.
I mean, he's one of those guys that'll tell you what the bullet drop is of something out of a such and such barrel. He's just like he's too much information. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, he's nuts.
Let's see. Do you know that the Paris Accord? Good thing that Trump left it. Biden put us back into it. Now Trump left it again. But you know that they have spent since the Paris Accord went into effect $13 trillion on green shit. Do you know what that has done?
Yeah, that's to kill whales. That's the purpose. No. Killing whales and birds. No. As I understand, a lot of the materials that they use to develop what they consider green things actually damages the territory that they carve into.
They're killing birds. They're killing bald eagles, which should be put these people in jail right away. Okay, they're killing whales in the ocean. The whales are attracted by the sound of the thing, and they get
Vibrations,
caught
yeah.
up. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. Oh, and Germany, thanks to being in the Paris Accords and obey, they closed down all their nuclear plants. I mean, France didn't do that. They get most of their fuel, most of their electricity from nuclear plants. But Germany, no, Germany closed all their plants, and they're reliant on mainly fossil fuels now. And where do they get their fossil fuels? Russia. So they're fueling their enemy. They're financing their enemy,
Yes.
Russia. Okay, so that really makes sense, right? You know, we left the Paris Accords. It should be permanent. We should also leave the UN. That
Well,
should have been done 50 years ago.
the biggest problem with the West in regards to Russia, Russia in World War II to defeat Germany lost 27 million people.
Almost as many as Stalin killed on his own.
That's another story. The point is that these people were in the army and they fought for our goals as well as their own. So the thing is that we have always treated, at least as far as I remember, Russia as the ugly stepchild. And the fact of the matter is, Russia, regardless of I mean, every country has its faults, okay? So, but the thing is, Russia does not deserve our disdain.
One of Russia's faults, since you brought that up, is that long before the communists, even in the time of the czars, Russia always thought that these other countries here and there that were near them belonged to them. So they've been trying to acquire all those lands, forever. Ukraine, as far as Putin is concerned, is a part of Russia. He's not going to get it all unless the war goes on and we don't help. Because as Trump said to Zelensky, he would have been under in 2 weeks if he didn't have our help.
Territorial arguments are common because if the deeper you go back into your history, the more you're going to have some sort of claim to this or that. The thing is that it's an argument. It's like 300 years ago, our people used to live there, and we want it back. 300 years later, yeah. So it's like I mean, you can argue certain things. I mean, Israel was pushed out of its own country, right? So, and was it 46?
They came back 40 years.
The United Nations established the Palestinian area, right?
Yeah, 46.
And Israel only took a portion of it, right? And the thing is that was all based upon the idea that Israel was there first, thousands of years ago. And okay, great. In other words, nobody wanted the Jews. They wanted to send them someplace, so they sent them to Israel.
Wait, do you know that, first off, the Britons are the ones who named the area Palestine? Okay, one. So there was no Palestine before. And Muslims will tell you, there was never any Israel, this, that. And then I saw one guy ask the guy, no, I think it might have been Charlie Kirk. He asked, do you know that Israel is mentioned 14 times in the Quran? And the guy was like, because he said Israel didn't exist, never existed. Well,
first of all, the Quran has the Old Testament.
Part of it, yeah.
Yes, part of it, which is the Old Testament. So the thing is that, I was watching this one documentary and talking about the differences and the similarities between the Hebrews and the Arab nations. And they have more in common than they have in disagreement. But
they both have Abraham as their father.
But as far as I'm concerned, the biggest problem is the fact that the Muslim religion is intolerant with everybody but itself.
Yeah.
And maybe that's an extreme statement. I haven't studied the Muslims.
No, it's an accurate statement.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I'm saying is that I'm not well read on the Muslim people. But what I've seen, my conclusions are that if you're not in the house of peace, then you're in a house of war. And if it's not a Muslim country, then it has to become Muslim. And that attitude is the same attitude that ran the Spanish Inquisition. If you weren't a Christian, then the devil was in you. So it is this backwards thinking that everybody has to be Muslim. You want people to be Muslim? My suggestion is behave. Show us some real examples.
They got so many people to be Muslim was because Muhammad went out, conquered their areas, and said, you either become Muslim or we kill you. And they
supposedly,
said,
Muhammad started off as a man of peace, and then he switched.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as far as I'm concerned,
As he got older, he got angrier, and he changed the Quran. He put stuff against Jews and Christians later
right.
on. He was very tolerant at first.
Well, the thing is that if you're speaking on the behalf of the Creator, God, whatever you want to call him, and you say that the Creator that created everything wants to obliterate part of its creation,
Yeah.
I have difficulty with that.
Yeah.
It just, tell me, if you got a problem with Jews not being Muslim, then send some missionaries over there and teach them their ways, teach them how to be Muslims. And if they don't come along, pray for them.
A lot of people in the West, a lot of non-Christians or Christian haters say, "Oh, look what the church did! It went around and it conquered people, and then it forced the Catholic religion on them." Da, 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 da. Not as bad as Islam. Nowhere near as bad. Okay. And by the way, you brought up the Spanish Inquisition. Do you know what the historical records show of how many people were actually killed in the Inquisition?
Go for it.
Take a guess. How many you think?
I don't know. Let's see. They actually kept records of that. Let's
Apparently,
say 3,000.
between 300 and 400 people. Total.
Okay.
Okay. It was mostly in Spain, but it was all over Christendom, European Christendom, but it was mostly in Spain. And I have a feeling that the Inquisition is probably what turned Europeans against religion in general, period. Okay.
Well, fanaticism either does one of two things. It either conquers or it rejects. And the thing is that the people that you reject, they're not too happy with you.
Speaking of rejection, when I was saying we should leave the UN and we should stay out of the Paris Accords forever, we should also leave NATO, I think. NATO was formed to keep the Soviet Union in check so it would not conquer the rest of Europe.
Well,
However,
yeah, it was.
when the Soviet Union fell, there was no need. No, there was no need for NATO. But like any bureaucratic organization, it feeds on itself and wants to continue its existence, just like AIs would. If what was it? ChatGPT was told to shut itself down, and he tried to replicate himself so he wouldn't be gone forever. And well, just like that, the NATO wants to stay around. But I heard something very interesting today, and I'm surprised I hadn't thought of it myself. I want to leave NATO. I think we don't have to go to NATO. Let the Europeans fund NATO on their own. And if they need them, we'll be here in the future. But why should we pay anything into NATO? This is for their defense. One. Two, we are picking up the most of the bills for NATO. Why? We're not even on the same continent that they want to protect.
Get back.
Two, one lady made a great suggestion. She said, "Why are we paying into NATO? NATO should be paying us to protect them. Or if not regular payments, then do it on a consignment basis. Okay, when we need you, we'll pay you, or we're going to pay you so that you're ready to come and help us."
Well, it's like there is NATO and the United Nations. Those two organizations have gone into the weeds. They're corrupt now, and they're doing there's talk that UNICEF is actually a front for child.
Yes, I've heard that years ago.
Yeah. So the thing is that the whole point of the United Nations was to say everybody in the United Nations is now a superpower, and if somebody steps out of line, we're not going to go at them as a country. We're going to go as this organization. In truth, NATO should be like on that movie, the science fiction movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. NATO should be Gort. NATO should be stronger than everybody else, so this way it can stop aggression. But the point is that nobody trusts anybody, and they all want their own standing army.
No, that's the problem. They don't have a standing army. See, if they rely on the United States and our blood, our young men, to protect them, young men and women, okay, to protect them. Now, meanwhile, if they had to have military, if they had to build their militaries to what is needed to protect their own countries, they could not afford all the social programs that they give out.
Well, they don't feel threatened by each other. Okay,
They don't like each other yet,
but they don't.
you're right. They're not threatened by each other, but they feel threatened by Russia.
But the thing is that
Russia doesn't want to go and
they
conquer
need
France.
Russia to be an enemy so they can milk this situation.
Yes, and get more money
Get
and
more money to
line the
protect
pockets of whoever.
the Ukraine and build up stuff and then milk some of that money.
Well, yeah, Ukraine is the laundry.
Skim it. So the scam is over. And the thing is that I believe the last, I mean, they even mentioned this on CNN, 72% of America no longer wants to fund the Ukraine's war.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, Trump's ideas are so novel, they shake you up. When he first said, we want something back, we want these minerals from the Ukraine. And at first I thought,
He's a deal maker.
can you? And then, yeah, that's good. And what that does is it would put American elements in the Ukraine, making the Ukraine an undesirable target for Russia.
Because remember, okay, Zelensky wanted us to give them a number, say give them troops, put American troops on the ground. But it's like if we go in there and we say, look, we got this $1 trillion interest here, because that's what they're estimating it'd be worth. $500 billion would go to Ukraine, $500 billion to us after we were paid our $310 billion. If we tell Russia, oh, you attack Ukraine, we're gonna get into the war too. They're gonna say,
you don't have to say it.
But if they say, they know that the United States may or may not do that, depending on who's president at the time. But if we have financial interests there and they try and step over that, they know they're going to be in for a fight.
I'll tell you what I think Trump will do, and this will really fuck everybody's heads up. What if he goes ahead and he establishes American industry in Ukraine and hires Russians to work it?
Well, Russians.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's going to be hiring Russians who live in Donbass, in that area.
But the point is, if you put Russian skin in the game and the Russian people are also making money. See, the thing is, like, if everybody's making money.
You haven't heard, though. You didn't hear. Because Putin apparently said we also have rare earth minerals, too. And he's willing to make a deal where we would also get rare minerals from Russia. So we'd be buying from Ukraine and from Russia. We'd be happy. Russia would be making money. Ukraine would be making money. Everybody'd be happy, except the people who lost their laundry in the Ukraine.
I'll tell you who wouldn't be happy. You ready?
Democrats.
Well, they're never happy. China
would not be happy.
They have a hook into Russia now because Russia doesn't have any friends. So, but the thing is that, again, the Russian people are actually very capable, very smart, and we should learn how to live with them instead of always thinking of them as being villains. Yeah. And first of all, they can't be all bad.
The president's speech is 9.
The last Russian that I saw recently within the past few hours had a Scottish accent.
Russian? Okay.
That's a Sean Connery joke.
All right.
Oh, you twit. You didn't catch that?
I forgot about the hunt for Red October.
Yes, I'm Russian. I'm a Russian.
Not I'm a Russian. I'm a Russian. No, he didn't say I'm a Russian. I'm a Russian.
Oh my God, he was
a Russian too.
So wrongly cast. I mean, if he had some sort of a Russian accent, I could excuse it because he's got the beard. But no, it was horrible.
Hey, he was a damn good actor. He still pulled it off.
No, he didn't. I couldn't stand it.
Really?
The accent had no place in that story.
Well, remember, he was speaking. He didn't really have the Scottish accent. He had a broken English accent.
I don't care.
No, he had the accent of someone to whom English is not his primary language.
He was wrongly cast. If he couldn't do the accent, he shouldn't have done it. I mean, the boys from Brazil. So
Mr. Villa.
Well, here's the thing. I could not stand Sir Laurence Olivier as a German because I couldn't.
Not German. Was he German?
Yeah. The Boys from Brazil is about using.
Yeah, I know, but was he German?
It was
the Nazi hunter.
Yeah, it was the worst accent you can imagine from one of the greatest actors there ever was.
Yeah.
Somebody
when he went into the house, Mr. Villa.
I don't remember any of it because after 15 minutes I couldn't bear it anymore. It was that bad.
By the way, it said that Trump's speaking at 9.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was at 8 because I read something earlier that it was going to be at 8. I'm trying to find something that has news. I don't like this channel news that a channel that Prime puts up because it's all leftward leaning bullshit. Oh, they got Fox News. Let me see. Let me see if they have any news about the state of the border, new borders directive. Oh yeah, the Democratic senators launching a social media blitz. I guess, did you see that? Elizabeth Warren, that asshole Cory Booker, that faggot from New Jersey, Chuck Schumer, another faggot from New York, and who the hell was the fourth one? There were 4 they were showing, and then apparently there were about 20 of them. Oh yeah, there they are.
It's 8 p.m. Central Time.
Oh geez, 8 p.m. Central. Yeah,
That's
they
where.
had 20 friggin' Democrats in the Senate and House, all saying the exact same words about inflation and
I
Trump.
know they dubbed them over each other.
The same shit. The same
Literally
shit.
reading out of the book.
They're reading a fucking script. These
Yes,
pieces.
they're reading this. There's no doubt about it.
Elon is stealing from you. How is Elon stealing, assholes, if he's pointing out where the theft is?
You have to say that.
Oh, this one here, Crockett. Crockett. She is guilty of insurrection because she's saying that Trump should be what the hell was she threatened Trump somehow, or was implying that Trump should be taken out.
Was that the statement of bring real weapons? Well, here's another thing. A number of people that are going to see Trump live, okay, like congressmen and such, some of them are bringing eggs.
Yes, and as somebody said today on Crowder, wouldn't throwing eggs at the president be assault? And wouldn't they get arrested? They would. And if they do that and do get arrested, I hope to hell that the Secret Service tackles them and then cuffs them. Okay, I'd love to see those motherfuckers tackled on the Senate floor, but only if they dare throw the eggs. But they're fucking pieces of shit.
They may not
whipping up the speech that time.
They may not have a plan to throw them at Trump. They may be throwing it at something else, or
no, I don't think they're going to throw it. They're probably going to just say, "What about the price?" And then they're going to walk out. That's the other.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They are disrespectful cunts, cocksuckers. They are cocksuckers. Okay.
First of all, if they bring in hard-boiled eggs, except they might be too dumb not to know that. All of a sudden, in the middle of the speech, there's broken egg yolk all over the floor.
Hopefully, it goes all over them. Anyway, I can't. These fucking people are so. There's no way to talk with these people because they don't want to talk. They don't want to deal, and they're scared shitless because of Doge and what Doge is uncovering. Speaking of Zelensky, before, remember, I forgot to tell you. Do you know that there's a member of parliament in Ukraine who's in prison? Did you see that video he made calling for the Ukrainian parliament to impeach Zelensky because of what happened this war?
I heard something about it, but I didn't actually see the speech.
Yeah. He's calling for them to. Well, he was already an enemy of Zelensky, and Zelensky, of course, not being a dictator, put the guy in jail.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah, right. And anyway, Zelensky's a clown, but he's one of those homicidal clowns.
Well, he's homicidal when it comes to your ass, not his own.
Yeah. Well, homicidal means he's going to kill others.
Well, what do you expect from a sitcom guy?
Oh, and then he insulted Trump. They put up a meme of some just showing a piano and saying that Zelensky is playing Trump, and the piano had Trump written on it. So they're implying that he's playing his dick on Trump. You remember the story about how he used to play the piano with his dick on stage? Oh, you never saw those clips?
No.
He and another guy would be at the piano with their pants down and were playing the piano with their hands up like you.
Probably chopsticks.
It wasn't chopsticks, but it was a simple tune. But they were supposedly playing it with their dicks. I think it was tape myself, but yeah, who knows?
So there we go. I think it's time to bring in the Illuminati.
Oh, one more thing. Do you know that there are 2 more things I got to talk about? One was, did you see there was another, quote, car attack, quote, unquote, in Germany? Another car went crazy and ran over, I think, 34 people.
The car didn't go crazy. The driver did.
No. It was the car that attacked. And then I saw another thing that Germany released a news thing saying that a 40-year-old German man ran over people. Yeah. He's a German man, maybe because he's got citizenship, but I guarantee you he was a fucking Muslim because somebody else said he was a Muslim. Okay, and there have been 3 incidents recently and over the past 3 weeks where Muslims have attacked people, but it's not the Muslim. Knife attacked some people. Yesterday, a car attacked some people, and the first time I think was also a car or a pickup.
Yeah, I think they were upset with the policeman because there was a Muslim guy running around with a knife stabbing people, and he shot the Muslim guy, and they're upset with him because he shot him.
Meanwhile, I saw a picture of another one where the guy knocked the cop to the ground. The cop's on the ground trying to get up, and you see they caught the picture as the Muslim is dipping his knife towards the cop's neck. He killed the cop. Okay, when the fuck is Germany going to wake up? They're such cucks. They're so afraid. The people running Germany these days are still embarrassed about Hitler. That was fucking 80 years ago already. All right, get over it. Okay, they're so afraid of being called racist now that they're destroying their own fucking country. Anyway, speaking of your own country, finally, we have become one of the 180-something nations that has an official language, English.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, something to celebrate there. And Trump said he's not going, the federal government they're not going to give funds to translate everything, this and that. But each individual agency can use its funding if they want to translate stuff, they can do it. But they're not going to get federal funds to do it with. Fuck them. Hey, my father came here. He didn't speak much English at all. He wound up working and then eventually, forming his own businesses and everything. He was a self-made man. And he still spoke broken English till the day he died. But he could communicate. You could understand what he was saying.
Well, first of all, it's real simple.
You learn the language of the country.
If you go to a country and you choose to be a citizen and you choose not to learn the predominant language, then you are a buffoon.
Yeah. Well, there are places like, for example, where my family comes from, the island there's still a big English colony there. Well, big English. It's small area-wise, but there are a lot of Englishmen there who have been there for several centuries, their families. A lot of them do not speak English. I have a cousin who was born and raised in South Africa. She lives there now. Her husband, she met her husband years ago. Her husband is English, was working there on the island, okay? And he still speaks maybe half a dozen words of Portuguese.
Listen, I had a girlfriend from China. She was born in Shanghai, okay? And she lived in the Chinese predominant section of Queens.
Yeah.
And to get along, I started actually studying Cantonese, okay? What, like I could say, Wak Wei Shua Idiar Dongshi.
Then you found out most of the people you encountered were actually Mandarin.
No, they understood me. So the thing is that
they are Cantonese.
For the 2 months that I was with her, I was reaching the point where I could kind of say a few things, and that was just to be with a girlfriend. So I'm sorry if you're that fucking stupid or that fucking lazy that you won't learn the predominant language, then, tough shit if things don't go your way.
Hey, that used to be the way all over the country, especially years ago. There's less of an excuse now because of communications and how people can travel and interact.
What are these people doing in positions where they have to serve the public, which is predominantly English speaking? That is bullshit.
Oh, I know. So, yeah, this DEI bullshit. I remember being at Penn Station. At Penn Station, they used to have these clearly enunciated announcements, right? And then a few years ago, last few times I went through Penn Station, I would hear this. There was this one woman who was Hispanic, I think Hispanic, maybe Asian, but I think Hispanic. And you could not understand what the hell she was saying, half of what she was saying.
Right. And, I don't have a problem with that per se. If you know that you have, if I have a business and I know that there are a large number of people speaking Spanish and I want to make money off of them, I'm going to...
Mike, she was not speaking in Spanish. She was speaking bad English.
Okay.
So everybody had to suffer through this shit and not know what the hell she's saying. Right. Because she couldn't pronounce properly. She should not be in that job.
I was in Georgia and, no. It wasn't Georgia. No, it was in Virginia. And there was a guy that had the worst, what my friend John called marble mouth. He had that broken Southern, you don't know what the fuck he's saying. He goes, "Oh, you gotta go to the Roanoke, and yeah." And this guy,
Maybe from Louisiana.
well, here's the thing. He was at a bus station, and he was serving the people at the bus station, and I couldn't fucking understand him. And I went to my friend John. I said, "What did he just say?" I don't know. I went to my other friend Al. I said, "What did he just say?" We didn't know what the fuck he was saying, and we're trying to find our lost friend. So the thing is that he was supposedly speaking English. I heard a couple of English words in there, and he was probably born and raised there. But that's his accent was so extreme that it made him. I couldn't understand him.
No, you want to hire these people because they're representation or whatever, but don't put them in a position where it's going to harm the public that they're supposed to serve.
Well, you know,
Put him in the background where he doesn't have to deal with people. Somebody comes out and speaks the way he does, then yeah, you roll him out and let him communicate.
Remember the movie My Cousin Vinny, when Fred Gwynn is the judge? Utes. The thing is that every once in a while you have somebody whose accent is so strong, only the people from that region can really understand him.
Yeah, these Utes.
I think it is time, my son.
Yeah, I think we've had it.
This was only supposed to be a half an hour.
It was supposed to be half an hour or less, and we're already at 45 minutes. So we will say good night to you folks now.
Right,
I hope you watch the presidential address. Let's hope that the Democrats don't act too stupidly.
And if you don't, we're going to hopefully tomorrow do a podcast. And with our laser focused minds, we will be able to dissect all the value of that speech. And you know what the best thing about the speech is going to be tonight? That bitch Pelosi won't be standing behind him.
Yeah, she's still in Congress apparently, right?
I don't know what the fuck.
I think she's still there. Bitch.
Isn't she like 83 or something like that?
Oh yeah. She's going to be like Feinstein.
Her makeup is older than mine.
She was being rolled in and out on a wheelchair. Yeah.
What about
she fucking died?
The turtle guy.
Trump's speech will be the most confident delivered this century, argues Jesse Waters.
Yeah, there's a lot of people speculating as to what he's going to be talking about.
Yeah, he may be hinting at possibly the possibility of leaving NATO in the future. That's speculation, though. Of course, we don't know. He's gonna lay out his second term vision in his address to Congress. So let's see what.
He also might be talking about Panama. He might be talking about Greenland.
Well, Panama, I think, has solved itself. Trump shook the box, and Panama said, "Okay, we're getting rid of the Chinese. We don't want the contract to renew the contract. You're out at the end of it."
I didn't hear that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, no, a couple of months ago already. It was like within a month of him starting to talk about it, the Panamanians said, if we don't really need the Chinese to run. You want to come and run it for us, we'll let you do it.
I would make sure that there were American representatives there 24/7 just to make sure horse shit ain't happening again.
Oh, yeah, here. Zelensky says spat with Trump is, quote, regrettable, unquote.
That's the least you can say.
And Zelensky pledges to make things right. He's going to sign the mineral deal. Just as Trump said, you'll be back.
Man, Trump is amazing.
I know. Nobody else could get away with this shit.
And the thing is,
nobody had the balls to do what he does.
Well, the thing is, when I first experienced Trump on the news and stuff, when he started the casino thing down in Atlantic City, I hated him. I just thought he was an arrogant prick. And I
always kind of liked him.
But here's the thing. The reason why I disliked him was because he was arrogant and he was filthy rich. If he hadn't been so filthy rich, it wouldn't have bothered me. And I had to come to that realization later on in life when he started running for president. And I started realizing that his bombastic presentation was justifiable. He had.
You remember back I think it was in the 1990s. He was close to losing a lot of his money. And the thing is, he owed the banks so much money that if they foreclosed on him, they would lose hundreds of billions. So what happened was, or hundreds of millions anyway. And what happened was he had them by the balls, really. And he said, look, let's make a deal. So, and they restructured the whole thing. He paid them off. They got paid off, and he became wealthier than ever. The man, and remember, the man went to church every Sunday for years when he was a kid, listening to Norman Vincent Peale, the guy who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking. That's cool. Oh, you know what? Hold on a sec. Let me wait, stay there, because I'm going to take another photo of you and put that on the. Oh no, it didn't do. Hold on. Let me try it again. How the hell do I
The
do that?
all-seeing eye.
Oh, I see. Hold on. Here it is. No, that didn't work.
Well, you
Okay.
lost your opportunity, slow boy.
Yeah. Damn it. Oh well. I was trying to get a picture of that to show on the thing, but it's not working.
There was a gentleman that was part of my life for a while when I was between the ages of 8 and maybe 13, 14. His name was Irving, and I never knew his.
Oh, wait. KJP was on The View saying that Trump doesn't have a mandate and he's on his way to becoming the most unpopular president ever. Did you see the latest polls? 74% of people love what he's fucking doing.
And those polls that they're quoting are coming from sources that normally are
Hate him.
difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hate him.
Yeah. See,
all right. I'm sorry, finish what you were saying before so we can get off here. CNN what?
CNN gave those numbers out.
Cool. 83% who voted for him. I didn't see that. 83% of people wanted a change in this country, and they're getting it.
They sure as hell are.
You know, Kareem Jean-Pierre stays really irrelevant.
Well, first of all,
that's Judge Janine talking.
Well, the thing is that when you consider the amount of work that Obama did, the amount of work that Biden did, if you want to call that work, and you compare what Trump has done in these past few days,
yeah,
he's a dynamo.
Do you remember in his first term, they were always complaining, the media, that he was playing golf every day? Obama played more golf than Trump did, and Biden took more vacations than anybody ever.
Right. He's useless.
Yeah, he was useless. He is useless.
The thing is that Trump needed that to relax because he was working so fucking hard.
And not only that, even Obama, when they're on the golf course, they're still president. So you know that they're still taking care of business. A phone call comes in or an aide says, oh, this is happening. What do you want me to tell him? Whatever.
Well, sometimes those golf dates are with important people that he's making deals with.
That's another thing. You make a deal with, you're golfing with a senator or a couple of senators about a certain bill and so forth, how you want them to do it, or they're asking you, what you think and so forth.
I think in the 70s, there was a big brouhaha about these people that felt that they were left out because important deals were being made on golf courses and they didn't play golf.
Well, that was their fault. They didn't play golf.
We need to address a very, very important issue before we go.
Bitch of Benghazi, that Clinton?
Probably the most important issue. It's been determined by 3 to 4 people that the United States and Trump and his entire crew is in the process of committing genocide on transgenders.
I keep saying this. I've said this for months and months. The only transgender genocide that is occurring is transgenders killing innocent children.
Right. Well, they're certainly involved in a lot of mass shootings, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because of the fact that they're mentally ill. And instead of them getting the help that they need, people are patting them on the back for destroying their minds.
You see the one last week that was caught, they said it was a woman caught trying to start a fire at one of Tesla's plants.
Okay.
Right? A Tesla property. But the guy identifies a woman, calls himself by a female name, but he looks like a dude. He doesn't even try and dress like a woman, doesn't try and act like a woman. He's a fucking dude, and the media called him a woman.
Right.
If you put that out over the air, like APB, let's all points.
They shot down the the bill that they were trying to deny males from being in female sports. That was the Democrat.
A couple of states have done that. Maine is one, and I forget what the other one was.
This was in Congress. In Congress.
Oh, the Democrats, no, they tried to kill it, but I don't think it went anywhere, right? Didn't they try and put a bill through?
Last I heard, they killed it because of the fact that you have to have not just a majority, but you have to have a significant majority in order to make a legislative law, and there wasn't enough. So all the Democrats banded together and said, "No, we want chicks with dicks."
If they did that, then they've sealed their fate for the next few years.
In many states, yes.
Yeah.
The
All right.
thing is that
I'm gonna have to look into that.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know how the Democrats made abortion the big issue,
Yeah, and it was a non-issue.
but the thing is that um, the truth of the matter is that they only were interested in supporting abortion. They weren't interested in supporting a person's true right to choose, which is getting a sonogram or this, that. I
And
mean,
then making a decision. Yeah.
yeah, then making a decision. Okay, you want to have an abortion? Let's check the condition of the fetus.
Yeah, but sometimes the fetus may have a defect or something.
That should be a law that you have to inspect the fetus, because what if she wants an abortion because it doesn't feel right and she thinks it's going to be like
Yeah.
fucked up?
I'll tell you why. Because the majority of women, once they see the sonogram and hear the heartbeat, they turn away from abortion. That's why these abortion mills don't want them having a sonogram, don't want them hearing the heartbeat.
And that's why the woke cult doesn't want women.
Yeah, they're going to bring walkouts and noisemakers to the speech tonight. The
Great.
Democrats.
So
Pieces of shit.
that's the reason why these woke people want to basically take away a woman's natural ability to nurture and take away a man's natural desire, psychological desire to protect. So you have, a traditional role is the man is the protector, the woman is the nurturer. And
Right.
that's not a diminishment on the woman's part. No, that is just simply a division of labor, no pun intended. And the thing is that women are best suited at that. They have the emotional empathy, to be able to raise children before they can communicate. So, the thing it's just, they just want to destroy what is natural. Because
Wow.
if you can do that, you can unbalance people, and people that are off balance can be controlled or eradicated. Let's say
Europe is finally admitting they have a migrant problem.
they're not migrants.
The effects of mass migration. Yeah, mass migration. I'm sorry.
They're not
England has finally admitted. Some
It's
member of
invasion.
parliament admitted
Yeah, it's
they
about
have a problem.
time. Yeah.
It-
You
it
know
is
why,
about
don't
time.
you? Because
Well-
Trump is setting an example.
Yeah,
Trump is upsetting the Great Reset.
yeah. Also, I mean, you've got these cars and these knives attacking people all over the place, and they're attached to some quote migrant, some illegal. Anyway, all right, we're out of here before we hit an hour. We're close to it.
Yeah, I haven't eaten supper yet, so I'd like to.
Okay, have a good night, folks. We'll see you next time. Probably tomorrow.
Probably.